Okay, so today we're going to talk about the geography of ancient China and kind of how it had a major effect on how the people of China viewed themselves, how the people of China kind of were able to sustain themselves because China is a very much a area of multiple different climates, vegetation, so on and so forth. And the first thing we need to talk about, like we've talked about with all the other ancient civilizations, is the fact that majority of the early civilization established themselves in the Huanghe River Valley, which is right in this area right here. And the Huanghe is the main river we're going to discuss and is also known as the Yellow River. And it is known as Yellow River because of the fact that it has a very yellowish color. I have a slide next that I'll show you guys a picture of it. But it gets this yellowish color from the louse that is deposited in it. And louse is kind of like what silt was to Egypt and Mesopotamia, except for it's a yellowish brownish soil that is blown in from the Gobi Desert, which is located right here. And it gives that yellow river, it's a very yellowish, darkish, brownish, yellowish color. And it basically, when the river would flood, it would deposit this louse into the soil around it, making the land around that particular area very, very fertile, suitable for farming, and why people settled here. Just like all the other times that we've talked about, people were establishing civilizations here because of water for drinking, the silt and the water irrigation for farming, the ability to travel on the river, and the fish that were found in the river. Those are the four main reasons as to why they settled here, just like every other desert or every other ancient civilization that we discussed prior to this. A couple other major physical features that we need to kind of focus in on is first here with the Himalayan mountains. And we're going to talk a lot more about the Himalayas when we get into India because they are, first and foremost, the world's tallest mountain range in the world. And they provided a natural barrier for India. They also provided a barrier as well for China from people kind of coming in and coming out of these particular areas. It's like I said, we'll go into a lot more detail about it, and we'll get into a little bit more discussion with that as we get into it later, a little bit later. Another major form is this area right here, and that is the Taklamakan Desert, major sand desert that is in China, and basically kind of helped to create a border between them and the rest of the world. So basically, once things were all said and done, they had a complete border on their western side of the country between the desert and the mountains, which made them very much an isolated country. So basically, with that said, I mean, we kind of look at that in terms of those things. Those were the major areas of or geography that we're going to kind of focus in on as it relates to those things and why China kind of wanted to isolate themselves from the rest of the world. As you can see here, there's another major feature here. It's not a physical feature, it's a man-made feature. That's the Great Wall of China. That was built to keep the people from the north out in terms of Mongolia. They had their water barriers right here along this side in order to keep the east out. As I pointed out, the desert and the Himalayas here, and it kind of gives them their own real sphere of influence here. So just kind of some things to kind of think about there. The climate in the central area is very much like the climate we experience here in Indiana. Down in the south, right here by the Changjiang River, very, very tropical. This is the plateau of Tibet, very, very cold, very, very mountainous. And then obviously with the deserts and everything else, very dry, arid climates. And like I said before, because as a direct result of this stuff, it made it very, very suitable for a lot of different types of farming to go on here. A lot of different types of resources are found here. A lot of different things were going on, and that's why China really viewed themselves as their own kind of independent nation, and why they kind of, from time to time in their history, would isolate themselves from the rest of the world. But we'll get into more details about that later. That pretty much covers everything I wanted to talk about with geography. Hopefully you guys got all the stuff. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. Let me know if you need anything. Answer the questions with the video, and then we'll kind of go from there. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Oh, there was one more thing that I wanted to add to this discussion. This is a picture of the Yellow River, and it is very much, as you can see, that yellowish brownish color. from the louse that is deposited in there, and that's where it gets its name from. So just wanted to give you guys that as a little heads up. Like I said, once again, if you guys got any questions, let me know.